Welcome back, everybody, to the CHG podcast. And don't put your hand. God damn it! Welcome back to the CHG podcast, everybody. My name is RJ from CasualHardcoreGamers, and this week we got our boy. We got a good guest this week, an exciting guest. He goes by Gemini. Some of you already know him. I've been his good friend since about February this year, and we kind of just had one of those sparks. You know what I'm talking about? One of them sparks. I wish I could have that with a girl, but whatever. That's beside the point. But yeah, we've been pretty good friends since February. We're actually running a collaboration, which I think will be out by the time this goes out, on Resident Evil 6, which has been, I don't think fun is the right word, but has been an experience. But anyways, Gemini, say hello.
What's up, guys? How are we doing? It's okay. I'm allowed to speak now. So, basically, I'm here against my will.
Truly. Like every guest I have on the show, all against their will.
I also love how you introduced me as, like, we got a good guest this time. Like, screw the rest of those guys.
Yeah, everyone else, they weren't good. They were serviceable.
Amateurs.
But this guy.
This guy, now with a creme de la creme. No. But yeah, absolute pleasure to be here. Like RJ said, been good friends for a long time. I am a YouTuber, pretty small, but I do my thing and I have fun doing it. Got a collab going on with my man RJ at the moment. And I suppose you guys will see that before long anyway, so stay tuned.
He says small YouTuber as if he's not 10 times the size, literally the 10 times the size as mine. That means, I'm pulling the big guns over here. That is the respect I command.
It's like, I got 10 times the subs, but I work for you.
Yeah, you works for me, okay? I'm the... That's why they call me the Mac Daddy. Anyways, we're going to get right into this. As always, even though he is the guest, we will start this, as we always do, with what we are playing, but I will let our guest go first. What are you playing, man? Off camera. Everyone already knows what you're doing on your
Everyone knows what I'm doing off camera. Well, off camera, I'm sort of low-key trying to get a record on Streets of Rage 4. Now, I have played it on the channel quite a few times, and I love the game, and it's sort of my go-to at the moment. Like, I'm reasonably good at it, but it's like, when I've got some time to kill, it's like, 20 minutes before my friend shows up, I got 20 minutes before the gym or whatever. And 3 hours later, I'm still playing Streets of Rage going, come on, die! So, that's sort of my go-to at the moment. That and Cuphead. Now, I'm playing Cuphead on and off the channel because I'm trying to practice a little more because I want to get really, really good at it so that I can start doing challenges live. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about Cuphead because you guys will have seen it over the past week. Like every single upload is a Cuphead upload. And you're like, for God's sake, Gemini, play something else. But yeah, couple of other games, but mostly Streets of Rage.
That's cool. No, I'll have to double check and see if Streets of Rage is cross-plat, because if it is, you and I might need to go hop on that.
Definitely, because it's definitely multiplayer. But you can play online 100%, but I don't know if it's cross-plat.
Yeah,
definitely look into that, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. And if they do, they need to add that.
Straight up, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's another collab. It's just endless collabs. Just Gemini and your boy. Endless collabs. Just never
got like a year's worth of content in the bank. Nothing's uploaded yet.
For your upload schedule, yeah, it probably would last about a year. But yeah, fucking Cuphead. Yeah, I'll get into that in a second. So what I'm playing, particularly go to is I'm still playing Neo, as I've said for the last few weeks. Continuing on with the Abyss mode, which is like its end game thing, which is just basically a boss rush. That's all it is. There's like planes they call it, or floors. Okay. And then you just go through. Each one has a boss that you need to beat, but each one can also have one up to between 0 and 4 handicaps on you. And you can get rid of them by doing these small little, sometimes it's a gauntlet, sometimes it's like just a small little trek through part of a other level in the main game. Okay. And then once you get through it, you get rid of one of those handicaps.
All right. Okay.
You don't have to, because not all of them are that bad. There's actually been a few where I'm like, because I have a guide, I'm looking up a guide that lists all the bosses, and I'm not gonna play this fucking guessing game. Fuck that. So I know what boss is next, and I'm like, okay, I can handle that boss with these handicaps. I just go ahead and go through it. I'm on floor. There's 999 floors, by the way. I'm on floor 170. I don't plan on beating all 999.
No, I was going to say, is this something you've dedicated your life to, or
because I don't have a build good enough to where, because I've had other players join me for some of the bosses. Come, it's like, oh man, I just need help, and their builds, I don't see them because I'm fighting someone else, but I see the health bar and I just glance and it's just
it goes on forever.
No, the boss's health bar just gets melted. Just
Oh.
I'm like, where'd it go? What happened? So I don't have a build that can melt a boss's health that fast because I use an axe, and they didn't give as much love to the axe as they did to the sword or dual swords or what's called the Kuri. It's actually the Kusarigama, but we call it the Kuri for short.
Kurasari.
Yeah, we call it. You
have to say it like a Japanese dude. Kurasarigama.
But we call it Kuri because we're fucking wankers. So
that's a very British insult.
I don't use all of those. I use the axe. I like the axe, but they didn't give as much love to the axe as the game had been out. So I mean, I can do okay damage, but like I can't take him out like in one combo, which is the point at this point in the game. You want to be able to take him out with like a good combo or like a good skill attack. I don't have those. They don't do it, and the skill attacks that I do have are too slow. I'll die before I hit them. So it's a little tougher for me. So that's kind of why I don't think I'm ever going to get 999.
No.
I'll say maybe 200. I might cap it off at 200. Because I'm happy with that. Because on the PS4 version, I never even got like past like, I don't know, 450 or something. So I'm happy with going to 200. We'll see what happens, but that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm playing Stray, the cat game.
Love Stray. Yeah, I love the look of that.
I've been playing that. It's nice and cathartic. I'll say that. It's also very absurd. The fact that you're playing as a goddamn small ass ginger cat.
Yeah. Isn't it based in like a future world as well? So all the people are robots.
Yes. It's like I wouldn't even say cyberpunk. It's just some futuristic world. Yeah. Very strange. I'm only like a couple hours in, but I've heard the game isn't that long. So, but I still kind of it's just interesting that they would do it and actually did it with some good, production value.
Exactly.
To boot, and then lastly, fucking Cuphead. Fucking hell, Cuphead.
Bro, I'm proud of you, by the way.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
That's something that Gemini coined.
Hashtag.
One of our Resident Evil things or something, or maybe on a live stream, he just messages hashtag us. Because I'm always doing that. I'm always just in lieu of like actually being mad, I just go But
every cutscene.
Gemini played. Well, actually, technically, I played Cuphead before you because I played it with David like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's
true. Technically, I had played it first, but when Cuphead was kind of still like brand new, we played it co-op. We got up to the clown and then stopped.
Yeah.
Also, he moved, and then I was just like, "Fuck it, I don't care," because we were playing on his Xbox. Because at the time, it was an Xbox exclusive still, and so that's how far back we're going. So, I never touched it again. And the reason I was like, I bought it because it was on sale some months ago, and I was like, "Let me see if I can play it." And then I did, and I was like, "Okay, this is not so bad." Then I did it on live, and that's kind of when you and I were like, "Okay, I guess we're now Cuphead." Now.
This is what we do.
Because I saw you play it, and then and you jumped into my streams and me playing it, and then you were replaying it. I think I helped you restart replaying it again.
Yeah, rekindled the hatred.
And then you live streamed it. I was in your live streams, and then I was like, "Fuck, I gotta keep playing now."
I think this happens to us both as well, right? And you can admit this. Feel free, okay? You play Cuphead, okay? You as a Cuphead player, someone that knows what to do and someone who's beat the game, you watch someone play it, and when they're doing badly, you're sitting there thinking, I can do this. And you get all alpha gamer, and you absolutely want to just take the controller, just give me that. I'll fucking show you.
The backseat gaming is real when it comes to games like those. Like, if I wanted to watch someone do Neo, and they were just getting wrecked, I would have been the exact same. I'd be like, oh, man, bro. Just give me the sticks. Give me the sticks. I'll show you what's up. I'll show you what to do. Cuphead was the exact same. Like, every time I saw you play Cuphead, I was like, I mean, he's all right.
He's okay. I can do better.
Lots of people in the chat like saying, "Man, you're so good." I'm like, I'm good too. Like, I played it too, guys. Like,
it's like me also.
What about me too? Me too. The hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too.
Cuphead. Cuphead, me too. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Oh no!
I don't mean to take light of that, but it was too easy. But yeah, it's just I think I mean, so he's been watching me do the Cuphead. I watched him do the Cuphead. Just been feeding off each other. But I last streamed it last 2 weeks ago. Got destroyed by Salt Baker on expert. So then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to. I don't want to do this. I don't. Okay, if I stream this again and I'm on Salt Baker, like that's it, right? Because I hadn't played Miss Chalice yet, and I didn't want to do that live because I don't want to do that. I want to figure that out on my own first, and then come in ready to go. But if I could beat Salt Baker and he takes like, I don't know, an hour or something like that, well, I'm like, well, or less. It's like, well, stream's over. Bye, guys.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I didn't want to do
dedicate the entire stream to that one challenge. It's so ridiculous.
I just want to do that. And so I did do him off camera. Salt Baker, I did him. I did fight him off camera on expert. And then I first did a regular just to remind myself, okay, is this really this bad? I needed to know. Yeah. Is it really this fucking bad?
It can be done.
Is it regular mode at least? One try.
Yeah.
One try.
I think this is the thing. You play it on expert like 10 times in a row. Go back to regular, you will walk it, bro. You will walk that shit.
I'll speak to that in a second. Yeah, so I did Salt Baker on regular. First try, beat him. I was like, okay, maybe I was alive. It was just I was on camera. All right, whatever. So I go to expert. I'm like, let's do this. Fucking get this done. Because it was the last thing I needed to do to get the 100% for the DLC. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. And so first try, I got up to the last phase, I believe, and I was like, okay, cool, awesome, not so bad. And then I did another try. I didn't finish. I didn't get very. I just restarted because I was getting hit too many times in the first stage. I just restarted. But then the next time I was able to do a full decent run, I got him. I beat him. And so I was like, oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
Easy. First try, 0 deaths.
Something about being live, man. It just puts something on you. You know, it
really does, though. It really does.
Some games it doesn't matter, but for a game like Cuphead, I don't know. It just does something to you. You know, it's just. But it's super because on camera, I got an S rank on Esther Winchester without even like needing to. You know, so it's like.
What?
I don't know what to explain it. But anyways, so I got 100% of the DLC. I did play as Miss Chalice to get a feel for her. I did like the achievement to beat 10 bosses with her or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So I did all of that. I just did all of World 1 and World 2, just done. And so now I'm ready to play as her. I'm going to do a Miss Chalice run next week. Well, I guess next week from this recording that we're doing. This is 29th of July, a Friday. The following Monday, I will be doing a Miss Chalice run, complete Miss Chalice run too.
I was going to say you're doing the unlockable
with DLC. I don't know if the DLC is the DLC required to get the golden skin or just the main game.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will do a full Miss Chalice run. On regular, though, I'm not fucking around with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not fucking around with that. There's no need. You don't even get anything special if you do expert. That's just for people like you.
You don't either. You only need one expert. Like, you've only got to get one S rank for the achievement. So even though people like me and you, we've got, like, S ranks on everything, it's completely unnecessary. Oh, have you not?
No, I didn't bother. Are you fucking kidding me? I
didn't do it live, but I have done it.
I think the achievements are different on Steam because I saw someone post on the subreddit. There is an achievement on Steam to beat the game on expert, but there's not a trophy for it. I double checked because I was thinking like, it's kind of weird. There's an S rank trophy, you know, to get an S rank on one of the bosses, but you don't actually have to beat the DLC on expert, which is interesting.
Well, that's really weird.
Yeah, very strange. I mean, I did anyways, but
still, you know, hardcore gamer. It's in the name. You have to do it.
I mean, we'll say that. So
that was one thing. I don't have to get S ranks on everything. I was just like, I need this. But I know for my life.
I know for fact the S rank is not required on anywhere, but that's just you. So, So I have. Yes, I'll do that, and I'll give my thoughts on how I feel about Miss Chalice because I already have my opinions on her. If the time ever comes for us to ever be in person doing a co-op Cuphead, please be Miss Chalice because I don't want to be her. That's my first that's like a hint to like how I feel about her. Just I would rather not be her.
So, that's fine. I thought she was fun. It was a nice change of pace, really. Like especially for challenges, she's a little bit different. So I've started now that I've done the game properly. It's like I can't just keep replaying it, live for the sake of it.
Mm-hmm.
What I've started doing, what I've started to consider is doing like challenges. So like letting the chat control the character. So it's like, right, pick my shots, pick the boss, and I'll try and beat it. So I like so somebody said to me in the stream the other day, try and beat someone on expert with only the pea shooter, which is like your bog standard basic weapon, no super arts, no charms, no nothing.
Which I almost did on accident.
You almost did that anyway. You were just like plowing through the game with a basic weapon. I'm like, dude, buy more weapons. And then people in your chat started to flag up saying, dude, buy more weapons. God damn it. And eventually you didn't. You smoked it.
I'm such a fucking bum.
Amateur.
In my first live stream that I was doing on Cuphead, a lot of people came in. They were giving me hints and shit. I was just using the fucking pea shooter because I was too afraid to like experiment with the other shots, especially on camera, because I don't want to waste anyone's time. Because I didn't know what any of the other shots did. I didn't know what any of them did, so I didn't want to waste anyone's time. And then people were just like, bro, just what's that one with what's that?
Get the roundabout. Just get the goddamn roundabout. Yeah,
just get roundabout. And then I was like, okay, you guys seem to already know what you're doing. I'll get it. And I was like, what have I been doing my whole life?
That's crushing bosses back to back. It's like, that's what.
And then when they were like, bro, when I was on the dragon, they were like, get lobber. Just get. I was like, okay, fine. I'll get it. And then I was like, oh my God. Are you?
It's like cuts the time in half.
Are you goddamn kidding me? Because I remember fighting that dragon in like off camera for the like just to get a feel for the game, and I was like, that boss drove me to tears. I was so mad, man. And then I was so scared. I was like, Lobber. I was like, cool, boom, 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 dead. I was like, are you kidding me?
Downs him in about 10 shots. Like, okay.
That second phase is just done, and just not even. It becomes trivial. It's almost
barely an inconvenience.
Okay, damn. All right, I'm glad you guys were here to tell me what's up. But yeah, so I'm just. So I think after I do the challenge run, I think I'm probably done with Cuphead, unless somehow I just get an urge or something. But I don't think I will.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not a masochist. I just did it to prove a point, I guess, and I'm done. I'm moving on. Because I guess this is not a Cuphead channel. So
no, yeah, and you don't want it to be.
I don't.
I've seen Cuphead channels; they're not happy people.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that was long-winded what we're all playing, but oh well. Anyway, so we're gonna move on here. So I forgot what I told Gemini I was going to ask him, so I have it right in front of me. So first thing is I wanted to ask you what propelled you to even make your channel in the first place. Tell the people why does Gemini even exist?
Oh, dude. Well, it's funny really because I wanted to be a YouTuber for a really, really long time. Never had the means though, because as you guys who are YouTubers or who've ever given it a shot, and as RJ damn well knows, it's expensive. Like, to buy the equipment to keep this up, this isn't something that you jump into and immediately start making money. And you have to buy good equipment. And the thing is, when you're buying this stuff, you can't cheap out. If your videos are less than 1080p, it's like questionable quality. So people are just like, well, why am I watching this guy when I could be watching it in 4K? So you have to invest a lot of money. Anyway, off topic. I decided that I wanted to do it because I was watching these people like Shauna, Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and people like that, where they were making so much money, but they were doing such amazing things with it. And it's like, for me, don't get me wrong, it's always about money. Like, everyone wants this to be their job. I'd love to play video games and make money on it and everything like that. But I never saw it as an avenue to make real money. And then there's these guys out here building hospitals and schools and changing the world from the comfort of their own homes, doing something that they love to do. And I thought that's the dream. And I tried it, got everything up and running and everything, bought some basic equipment, started it, didn't do very well. So I decided to grow up and get a real job. And you eventually use that to fund this, like years upon years later. But it was funny because it's a story I've probably told RJ, and some of you guys that watch my channel might have already heard me say this as well. But I'll tell you guys, I was playing Mortal Kombat. Okay,
he sure was.
At my dad's house. I love Mortal Kombat.
He sure does.
And I'm pretty good. Like I'm pretty good. I used to play at like competition level and things like that. There was a point way back in like the later 2000s where I was like in the top 100 on Earth. Like I was in the top 100 players and stuff. So I was doing really well. Anyway, I'm playing online at my dad's house. I lived with my old man at the time, and I lost badly. And I have as a lot of you guys will know also, I lose my temper really quickly. I'll go from 0 to nuclear in 2 seconds flat for no reason at all. So I lost the fight. I went berserk and I laid waste to my parents' living room. And after turning the room into an asteroid field, my dad came in and I expected him to walk in with a belt like, but he's just laughing at me and I'm like, what's your problem? What are you laughing at? And he's like, he said this to me and it's always stuck. He said, if you took anything in the world as seriously as you take video games, you'd be completely unstoppable. Like you could not fail. You want it too badly and you have so much passion for it that, you wouldn't let anything put you down with it. You're so passionate, you're so into it, you're so angry and you get so emotional. Like imagine if this was your job. I don't know many people that take their job that seriously, and the people that do, people like football managers and things like that. They get so behind it that it draws them to tears. It's like if I could do this, and I was like, damn, he's right. Like if I took anything this seriously, if I wanted anything else this badly, I'd make it happen upon pain of death. Like I was ready for this shit. I was like, dude, okay, first opportunity I get, I'm gonna do something. So I did. Started working in an electronics store, started to plan it years in advance because, again, like I say, it's really expensive. It's like you have to buy a camera, that's a month's wages. You have to buy a microphone, another month's wages. You have to buy a PC, 3 months' wages. Like if you want good equipment that you don't have to consistently keep buying, you need a source of income. So I needed a day job. So I made sure my day job would get me a discount on the equipment I wanted. It also gave me the opportunity to research it. But the main thing that made me want to do it was the fact that I hated my job. I've hated most of my jobs. I don't like this isn't a dig at you guys or any disrespect to the public, but I do not do very well with people. Like I don't do well with crowds or high pressure situations or just the public in general. This is my happy place. I can change the world from here. I feel like if I had the money and the resources, I could do really good things from here. Without having to go out and meet people and work for the man and, I never wanted to spend the next 50 years working 12 hours a day in a place I didn't want to be, with people I didn't want to see, serving customers I didn't want to serve, only to retire and then die like 3 weeks later.
That's life, according to Gemini.
That is, I hate it. But it really is. Like, I've seen so many people. I know successful people, don't get me wrong, but these successful people aren't happy. For me, success is about what you do with your wealth. Like some of these YouTubers. Now, I use Jacksepticeye as an example a lot because the guy is a total inspiration to me. Just on the grounds that he has so much money, but he's so subtle with it. Like, he puts so much money into such amazing things. He changes people's lives. Don't get me wrong. He has his businesses and he has an incredible office. I've watched his office tour. His computer makes mine look really petty. But, that's for his work and his graft. And it's just so effortless for him. And I wish that I could be that effortlessly life-changing. I've seen the things people write to him. People have written to me. Even now at this level, people have written to me. People buy me gifts and make me things and draw art for me and things like that, saying, what you said in this video changed my life, or this, this really inspired me, this motivated me. And, I'm getting that now. So you can imagine what this guy with the best part of 30 million subs is getting. He's literally saved the lives of people he's never met. And I'm thinking, like, imagine if I can make that kind of impact and love doing it. So I thought, you know what? Okay, all in. Let's have it.
Yeah. Can you stop being the most selfless fucking human being on the planet, Gemini. Jeez. Making me,
Oh, I can. I mean, trust me.
I already know I'm a selfish bitch, but now you're just making it even worse.
Yeah, this podcast is over.
Yeah, over on the grounds of just too much purity.
It's like, wait a minute, yeah. Gemini's a good guy. What the fuck?
Well,
I didn't pay for this.
Half the streams he's ever done have all been charity streams, so that tells you something.
Yeah,
I have done 0 of those. So let that be a thing. That gets
I believe though, honestly, because it'll give you a reason to do it. The thing is, like, if you were to do a charity, because I remember the first charity stream I ever did was not a stream because I wasn't monetized at the time. I had like 280 subscribers the first time I did anything for charity. But it was right at the beginning of the pandemic, and there were some people really struggling with it, and I was like, again, inspired by Jack. It was inspired by Jack. I've just realized Jacksepticeye did this like a creators collective sort of thing where he's like, right, I want us all to come together on the same day, and I want you to all stream, to make money, and then all donate it to the same cause. I forget what it was called now because it was like nearly 2 years ago. But it was like we streamed together. And because my channel wasn't monetized, all I could do was play a game, make donations as forfeits, and then use my persona to help encourage people to use the link in the description to, make their own donations, which was all good and well. But it's a lot more, like, people get a lot more into it when it's live. When you can interact with people and they can really see the impact of what they're doing, and interact with you as a creator and everything. But the first time I ever tried it, it was great and it was a lot of fun, but my channel wasn't monetized. So all the money that came from the stream was from the comment section or from me personally. Whereas now that I've got a monetized channel where people can actually make cash donations and it'll go directly to the charity itself, I can even link it, so it literally just goes straight from their account through me and then into the charity. So I can do that without worrying. I feel like if you had a channel where you were a YouTube partner and it was monetized, it'd be a lot easier for you because all of your donations and stuff, which you get loads. You get loads just because your personality, like, I don't know, I'd want to donate to you. So,
I need to have
especially if it's a good cause.
I need an RJ fun stream. Fund me. How about me? Fund me. This guy.
A laptop. Yeah, let's get RJ a nice new laptop. I need a fucking laptop. That's my next charity stream. It's going to be to get RJ a new laptop.
It must be so funny, and this is not to go too off topic, but it's just really funny how you have such good pure intentions of your channel, and it comes from a good place from someone else who does a lot of good stuff too, right? With all the success that he's given. And I think back to my inspiration, obviously I've mentioned many times, is Game Grumps, just because they're like the only 2-person dynamic in the gaming sphere, that's like big. And that was like my inspiration. And I don't know everything they've done charity wise, but I know they've done some good stuff. I mean, I don't know how they couldn't. And I've seen their office too, which I'm like, holy shit. I remember they just record in Aaron's room. Just in this damn room. So it's that's pretty nutty. But anyways, I was thinking, like, they have all this stuff, doing all this good stuff. And then I recently just saw, you familiar with that one chick, Amaranth, or however you say her name?
I think I've heard that. I've watched the channel, but I know who you mean.
She popularized like the hot tub Twitch streams.
The meme thing.
Yeah. She apparently, across all her different resources, I think she's pulled in like $30 million or some bullshit like that, bro. He's making like a couple. She posted some of her earnings from OnlyFans, just purely OnlyFans, and that brought in like a couple mil each. And I'm like, damn, I hope she's doing some. I hope she's putting some schools up.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap, lady. All you do.
It's like that when you got that kind of money. It's like. It's almost upsetting to think that people who earn that kind of money don't. Like, even like me, I'm fucking broke. And I'm prepared to help people because I can see how bad the world is. And I think if people come from a lower place, like we do, we come from, like, not poverty, but, we've never been rich. Like, we weren't born with the silver spoon, like, I've never owned a car. I can't afford one. I've never been able to afford one. Not ever. Like, everything in my office is all state-of-the-art equipment, but it took me 6 years to build this. because because of how long it took me to save up and everything like that. So I know how difficult it is for to come by money, and how hard it is to find success, especially in like day-to-day life as an average Joe like me, or like most of us that are watching. So it's really difficult. So it's easier for me to be inspired to make change. So it's I always said, if I won the lottery, I'd do so much good with it, and I like to think I would, and that the money wouldn't corrupt me. That's why I draw such inspiration from people like Sean, who've got ridiculous money. He's got Lamborghini money. He's got socks made of silk money. He's got that. But he doesn't drive. Dude just lives in like a nice house with a nice office, just like me. The rest of his 7-figure income goes into like his charity work and his businesses, and spreading awareness and things like that. And it's just, how can you not, when you've got that kind of money?
Yeah,
how can you not want to fix
it kind
the
of
problems?
depends on how your brain works, where you came from, your surrounding brain. Because like for me, if let's say I was making 31 mil, like gosh damn, like, I can't even fathom.
It's ridiculous. I don't think I could spend it. I couldn't spend it.
I would love it, but I can't even. It's too much of a number. I can't even I can't fully appreciate how much that is. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like for me, because my first thoughts, and this may be just the way my brain thinks and my selfishness, but like my first things are like school loans gone. You know what I mean? Like
straight up,
cover that shit. And then getting a proper car, replacing this fucking laptop. But then like helping my family, because all my family went to school, so like bam, help my siblings
clear,
funds, clear all that shit out, and then obviously get a house. And in the U.S., houses I think are a bit more than in the UK.
So
get that taken care of. But then after that, my thing is, because it's great to have the money, but you don't want to run out of the money. So my thing is finding ways to keep that growth going, whether that be with stocks, funds, bonds, things like that.
You'd want to invest, wouldn't you?
Doing all that stuff, and then the charity. See, for someone like Jack, charity might be the first thing in his mind, but for me, that's just the way I think. It's kind of farther down, because it's like, well, if I just let it all go away, well, then it's done. But if I can, if I can sustain it, then I can keep that going longer.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So,
don't get me wrong. That's another reason why I think he started his businesses and everything like that, and then so for me, it wouldn't be just a case of if I won the lottery, it would all go. I have my own selfish desires and everything like that. I've got family that I would like to look after. I'd like to retire my parents, have them never work again, buy them a house, buy them nice stuff. Have myself a nice car, a nice house, and everything like that. But I'm basing this on such a small percentage of my overall income. Like if I had 31 mil, like this lady that you've mentioned, if I had 31 mil, I could probably live the rest of my life really happy and really comfortable on about 20% of that. I'd go on so many holidays. I'd have several nice properties. I'd have several nice cars. I could live like a Colombian drug lord and still have millions upon millions left to put in. And I'd obviously invest it so that it's like constantly making money. I would make like Jack started a coffee business and a clothing brand and things like that. And I would probably put it into the channel and try and promote my material and everything, and use it as a resource so that I could generate more income, so I could do more good, like Mr. Beast. And people are like, "Oh my god, it's so disgusting! Look at all that! I can't believe he spent £100,000 on a golden bagel." And it's like, yeah, he did, but it was entertaining, and that video made so much money that he was able to donate over $100 million to charities. He's put homeless people in shelters. He's fed people. He's single-handedly bringing countries out of poverty. You could be disgusted with the guy all you want. It's like, yeah, it is appalling that he spent 70 grand on that pizza, but you watched it.
It is hilarious that some people are honest. Their net worth is the same amount as some countries' GDP. That is baffling. And also, let me. I don't know anything about Amaranth, how she grew up, what she's doing with them. All I'm saying, I hope she's doing something with that along the lines as a lot of other very affluent influencers that are around. But anyways, we're getting off topic. We need to get back to the games.
Happens.
Quick question. This has nothing to do. I told you I'm surprising you because it's fucking my show. I make my own rules. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Mewtwo.
Mute, of course, the most aggressive one.
The most aggressive, probably.
Of course, the most aggressive.
I'm a good guy. I'm a nice person. I do good. If I had psychic powers, god damn, I'd take over the world, but it would be good.
Well, then be a Mew.
Hell no, I don't want to be a Mew.
Yes, Mew has those psychic powers, but he would never use it for evil.
Yeah, but Mewtwo has a more relatable story.
I mean,
whatever. Mew's always been like bestowed. Imagine that, but he's like the Superman of the Pokemon universe. He was just born bestowed with godlike power. Mewtwo had to work for that shit.
Well, Mewtwo was created for that crap. He didn't have to do anything. But
but look at the stuff he went through. The guy was like, he was.
but Mew though.
It's like no wonder he was evil.
Bro, Mew brings up.
He sees humanity for what it is. It sucks.
But Mew gets in all the ladies, bro.
yeah, but this is me, dude. I'm a friggin' robot. Like, I'm sort of like, I would donate my penis to charity. Like,
you don't want to be cute and cuddly.
I'm like, dude, look at me. I'm the furthest thing from cute and cuddly, right? Like, if you try and hug me, I'll probably bite you. I'd be more comfortable hugging Jeffrey Dahmer than I would be hugging me.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Anyways, I just wanted to ask you that one little quick fun question there.
No, what's yours?
Oh, it's a toss-up. I mean, I used to say I didn't have one. Because I didn't really think I had one, and I don't even know. I guess they're favorites. I guess they are what you could decide as favorites. But
Pikachu,
the two that I kind of find myself just being drawn to for some odd reason is Houndour / Houndoom.
Yeah, Houndoom. I love Houndoom. Yeah, so badass.
Or Mareep, that whole line, Mareep, Flaffy, and Ampharos.
Yeah, I love their design.
Something about, I don't know what it is. Something about those two. I see them, and I'm like, yeah, I like them. Cool. I also have a soft spot for Crobat and Kingdra. And Kingdra.
Yeah, I like Kingdra. Kingdra is cool. The thing is, I was a funny one with Pokemon because I've got this strange ability to like everything. So like I'm able to see the value in everything. I don't know if it's like my sales background coming in or something like that, but like I seem to value everything for what it is. So even like I'm the kind of guy that had a Metapod and never evolved it because I'm like, no, you've got to keep one. He might not want to evolve. He's green and shiny and he's cool. He's fucking useless.
You're one of those that like have one in each version of the variation of the evolution chain.
I did. I had all 150, literally individual ones. Like the first ones, I had a Bulbasaur and an Ivysaur and a Venusaur, all level 99.
Oh my god! I don't know how the fuck you did that, but. All right.
With a great degree of difficulty.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't know why I kind of draw myself to Gen 2. It just is. I did like Litten from Gen 6. I loved Litten. But only Litten. I didn't really like its two evolved forms.
Yeah.
After that. I thought they actually kind of let me down with them because I don't know what it is. I love Dark and Fire put together because that's how Houndoom's the same. So I really liked Litten, and I was like, oh, now they kind of fucked it up. But I also like Flygon from Gen 3.
Flygon's cool. Yeah.
I really like Flygon.
I like them all in their own way. Like it's really hard for me to pick a favorite, but I just default to Mewtwo because he was like my number one. I remember when I first found Mewtwo.
I can see him speaking to you. I can see him speaking to you, especially now. I can see him speaking to you,
especially now. Yeah, like you can imagine me as a kid who was like, I lost shit as a kid. Like in school, I was bullied for liking Pokemon. I got beat up in school for liking Pokemon.
Back then, that was grounds to be beaten up.
Yeah, it wasn't cool then. So somebody caught me with Pokemon cards. They took them off me. They tore them up in the playground. And I got beaten up. So you can imagine, like, if somebody gave me like Mewtwo-like powers, the first thing I'd do is go to that school and force choke every son of a bitch that bullied me. I'm like, I love this guy because Mewtwo was the same. It was like, wait a minute, why am I being oppressed? I'm fucking well hard.
Well, we'll move on to the final thing here. So, as some of you guys may know, but for those who don't, so one of Gemini's favorite series, if not his favorite, is Resident Evil. Been a lifelong fan of the series, of the franchise, just like Mortal Kombat. He played Resident Evil 2 remake on his channel. I don't know if you played any others on your channel, but
I've actually played a lot of them now.
But you played 5. You played 5. Sorry, you played 5.
Yeah, I played 5. We're doing 6. I played
6 now.
7, 8.
Oh, you did do 7 and 8. You're right. I can't.
2 and 3 remake as well.
You did the 3
and 4.
You did 3 remake?
Yeah, man.
I didn't see.
It was a long time ago, but yeah.
I didn't see that. I mean, I watched your 2 remake. I don't know how I missed your 3. Huh. Yeah, no, I did see your 7 and 8. I don't know why they skipped my mind because I remember you doing 7 and 8.
Because they're first person, they're different.
I do remember 7 and 8. You playing them. I do remember that. I didn't. The 4 must have been really old because I didn't watch you do 4.
4 was one of the first games I played on the channel.
Okay, makes sense. So yeah, obviously you can see, big fan. And so I'm going to dedicate the rest of this podcast to kind of asking him about Resident Evil, just his love for it, it's just what it means to him, all that stuff. So first question, favorite one, which I think I might know the answer, but favorite one.
Now this, right, I actually find this surprisingly tough because I instinctively want to say 4. Because 4 is like my go-to. Resident Evil 4 is arguably the best one they ever made. If you Google it, it's pretty much a landslide. Like the pacing of it and the enemy design and the storyline and the character development, just everything about 4 was perfect, which is why Capcom's got so much pressure on them at the moment to remake 4 in 2023. It's in production right now, and you can watch like leaks and trailers and stuff like that exist on YouTube right now, and it looks phenomenal, but they're playing with fire. But they were when they remade 2. When they remade Resident Evil 2, it was well known for being one of the best horror games ever made, even back then. So I found it really difficult because back in, and I'm showing my age here, but back in 1995.
95?
Yeah, man. Back in 95, I remember before I owned a PlayStation, I used to buy PlayStation Magazine.
Back in the day, man. You kids don't even know. We had to open these things called magazines.
Yeah, man. Magazines to learn. Because
magazines.
I didn't have the internet. Like, we didn't have internet. We didn't have a computer.
Internet wasn't really... it
wasn't really a thing.
It was there, but it was hardly functioning.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is now where you can type anything into Google. It was like... There was... if you typed in Resident Evil, it would probably come up with, like, murder cases, like domestic violence and stuff like that. Like, it wouldn't get what Resident Evil was, whereas now it's like a household name. But yeah, 1995, I had the booklet, like I had a thing, and I seen pictures of Resident. I remember I was sitting in a Chinese with my dad. I was in a Chinese takeaway, waiting for our food, and I just kept showing him, Dad, look at this monster. Dad, look at this monster. Dad, look at that monster. This looks really cool. And he was like, yeah, shut up. But he agreed with me, and it was like a bonding moment between me and my dad because we shared that. Like, we didn't have a lot of common interests, but horror was like a big deal for us. But I was a child, like I was a little kid. I wasn't scared of much, but because I was always taught that it was just like don't be afraid of anything. People are the scariest thing in the world. He was right.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. He was the kind of guy that would give me that pep talk. You know, it's like, oh, you don't have to worry about the monsters under the bed, son. God, no. It's the people climbing in through the window you want to worry about. They're the real problem. Right,
no, that's how you know how someone grew up. That's how you know. When your parents telling you shit like that, you have a good idea of what kind of environment they grew up in.
But yeah, that was that basically, and I eventually got I got a PlayStation for my birthday, and I got Mortal Kombat Trilogy and a couple of other games. And this magazine that I was reading came with a demo disc that I'd never ever used. Oh,
man, you kids don't even know about the
You guys won't know what a demo disc was. The demo disc.
Does that even make sense to you? Do you even know how to compute the words demo disc together? Back in the day, once upon a time, back in the 90s.
Way back when.
You could either get the magazine or maybe some other way, maybe through the mail or something. And you would be given a demo disc, and it would have like 8, 10 or something titles of PlayStation games that you just played through. It's basically demos, or it's like, but they're not trials. They were just demos. So like nowadays you have like game trials that you can like, it's like you play it for a certain amount of time. and you're just as far as you get. That's it, right? But this was like they cut out a particular piece of the game, and then that was what you played. And that's all you played. And it could have been the beginning of the game. It could have been like the middle of the game. It could have been a piece of the game that was never in the actual final game.
Yeah, it's like some random arbitrary bit of like, this is, we were going to use these assets. Let's throw them into the demo.
Yeah,
Let's see if people like it.
Which they did do sometimes. You would be playing a part of the game, and you'd be like, you finally get the game, and you're like, where's the part I remember playing?
Where's that bit? Yeah,
where's the part? And there was no internet again. You could be like, hey, where's the fuck is the piece that was missing from the demo disc? You could never do that. So you just have to be like, you'll never know. You'll never know. You'll never know. But anyways, you continue, please continue.
Yeah, but that was it. Like I had this demo disc and it had a bunch of different ones on, and it had Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
the original Resident Evil 2, the one that I've been reading about, and I was so excited. And yeah, basically, I played Resident Evil 2 before Resident Evil 1. Because by the time I was old enough to really grasp, the controls and what to do, because it was complicated for a kid. Bear in mind, I was just a Sonic the Hedgehog, very linear platform games. This you press this to move and this to jump, and that was it.
How do you go from Sonic to Resident Evil?
it was that drastic a jump. Like it really was, because the controllers, like this is like your PlayStation controller. That to me was loads of buttons, because I went from a controller with a D-pad and two buttons, A and B.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that was it. So I was like, look at all these buttons there.
The controller's so big.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't. It was one of these. I have one. It was this.
Yeah, it was that little tiny thing.
The original piece, and I was like, oh, look at all the buttons. I was like, what does this do? There's buttons on the back.
Like, what are these? What are these buttons on the top? Oh
absolutely
my God.
Overwhelming.
And I bet you when they introduced the analog sticks, your brain just melted.
Oh yeah, I remember the first time I played was with Resident Evil. I played with the analog sticks and it vibrated. I went, and I dropped.
Oh yeah, vibration too. Yeah, that wasn't a thing at first either.
Zombie jumped out and I dropped the controller. I was like, shit.
That is
and it let you play through the first 10 minutes of the game up until you get to the a certain point. Mm-hmm. So there's the liquor encounter in the first game is an iconic scene where Leon or Claire is walking down the hallway and this thing's fucking crawling along the ceiling. It looks down, it stares at you, it gives you a bit of licky tongue action, and then the game cut off. And it was
oh yeah, games used to do that too. Yeah, they used to have that. I played a few demos. They actually used to do that up until the PS3 360 era, actually.
Really? I didn't know they did that far.
They did do demos up until then. When I first had a PS3, half my hard drive space was just demos, because I couldn't buy any games.
No, we're broke.
I can't ask my mom to just constantly buy me games, so I just had to just download demos, and a lot of them, some of them they just stopped, hard stop. You got to beat a boss or something, or a big encounter. It was like, okay, done. Sometimes though, it was at the end of a cinematic or something, and then it was just cut off, and you're just like, oh, okay.
It was really well done though, because it left me wanting so badly that I would replay that demo over and over to the point where I could literally no hit the demo. I could run through the whole thing without getting touched. So when I actually bought the game and my friends came over, they were like, it's so hard. And I started up the game and I just started playing, and they were like, oh my God, you're untouchable. And I was like, of course I am. I've played it 300 times.
Yeah, I've only played it.
Yeah, I was totally unbeatable because I'd done it that frequently, but only up to a certain point. Mm-hmm. And then it started to get hard because I started to see things I'd never saw before. Then we... this is another adventure, another bonding moment with my old man.
Okay.
People didn't advertise on the internet. People advertised in a newspaper.
Yeah.
And he heard me talk so often about this game and saw me play the demo so often, but it was impossible to get hold of because it was super, super popular. It was sold out everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, because they only used to get because gaming shops weren't really a thing. It was you go to a music store and they might have a game section, or you go to the video store and they might have a game section, but it wasn't we didn't have a GameStop or a Game Station or an actual video game thing, because it just wasn't popular enough. So especially PlayStation, because there was only about 50 games that existed for PlayStation at the time. There was no real money in it. So if you wanted to get hold of it, it was hard. Anyway, my dad found one. And it was somebody was selling the full Resident Evil game in box, but they lived about 8 miles away from my house, which was a bit of a trek considering we had no car. So we literally got a bus to the next town over and walked the distance. But we got lost because, again, no GPS. We had to use a map, and we got lost. So me and my dad are walking through the woods, and I'm picking up conkers as we go, just on this random adventure for about 20 hours. Like, it took us all day to find this house. And we got there, and they sold us the game in person. And then I'm sitting on the bus on the way home, just reading the back of the cartridge over and over and over again until I got to play it. And because it was such an ordeal, it was supposed to be a birthday present, and my dad let me have it early because we'd been lost and it was a trek and I hadn't eaten all day, and it was just like it was a right endeavor. But I was over the moon. So
I'm about to say, I just find it so funny because now that we're adults, right? Yeah. And even if we don't have kids, we can still like understand what your dad at the time
totally relate to that.
Like,
yeah,
you probably didn't give a shit about the fact you hadn't eaten.
I couldn't care less. I didn't realize
you've been walking for 20 miles or whatever, right? You didn't even care. Once you had Resident Evil 2 in your hand,
it was worth it.
Everything just went away, right?
Yeah,
I can just imagine your dad on the bus ride back, just exhausted.
Oh yeah, he was done. He was fucking done. I remember him just being like falling asleep on the bus.
I can feel it. I can feel how tired he is, even though it's like 20 years later. I can feel it from you. So you tell your old man, I felt that. So
still,
I'm sure your answer though is Resident Evil 2. Is what I'm getting at.
Original, it's got to be, and it always was. And I said that, I remember saying it as a kid. I said, no matter what game ever comes out, this will always be my favorite. So even though my go-to is Resident Evil 4 now, my all-time favorite, the one that made me love the franchise, was original Resident Evil 2.
All right, but I'm guessing right after that would be the remake, I'd imagine.
Because I was scared to death. The same as I feel about Resident Evil 4. I'm like, oh my god, why are they messing with this? Oh my god, they're taking such a risk. But then they brought it out and it was immaculate. And I'm like, oh god damn, yes, well done, Capcom. Yeah. Good job.
I will say, as someone who does not do horror games, I did play Resident Evil 2 on my own channel, which Gemini's seen. And
and it was awesome.
I can attest to it being a very well done remake. And I can see why it got all of the accolades that it did. Still not a game I would purposely want to play, but I did it for you guys, for the views, man. I did it for the views. But anyway, so I had a feeling Resident Evil 2 was your favorite. I think you said it before, and and if you hadn't, reason why I knew, because when I watched you play the remake, the level of familiarity you had with it, it had to be. It absolutely had to be your favorite one. Now, it's not that you don't have the same level or good familiar with 3, 4, or any others.
Sure,
but 2. It reminded me of myself when it comes to like Crash.
Yeah, Crash 2 and your 3. Original, your OG games.
When I played Crash 2 stream the other day or a few weeks ago, I knew everything. Everything's been because I've done it just like you. I've done it so many times.
Walked all over it. I've seen you do Crash and I've seen you do Spyro, and I've played Crash and I find it really hard. You just walk all over Crash because you're like me with Resident Evil 2. It was your game.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what Crash you're playing. Crash 1, if it was Crash 1, that game is just hard as shit. Okay, it is just so that's the one you're talking about. I don't blame you. I played it only twice in my life have I played Crash 1.
Yeah.
And they were both some of the hardest shit I've ever done in my life. But Crash 2 is still hard, but they started making it more accessible.
Yeah.
If it's Crash 3, that's the easiest. So I would recommend you maybe try Crash 3 again, because that one
maybe
is
start with 3, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say start, because if you do the other two, you're gonna be really pissed. I would say go in succession, because then you'll see how it went.
Okay.
I mean, also because I'm also biased. I don't like it when people play games from the start and then go backwards.
Yeah.
Because then it's like when they get to the old games, they're like, "Oh, this fucking sucks and it's shit." Yeah. And it's like, well, because you've been spoiled with all the greatness of the early games. Like, if you had played the other ones first, you would have had no bias. You would have had nothing to base it off of. Now,
totally agree.
Crash 1 still sucks, but but you would be able to say like, oh, well, it's bad because 2 or 3 are so much better. It's just Crash 1 is just bad because it's bad.
It's just hard, isn't it?
But anyways, So when I just heard you going on, you were just like, see, like, when I get this part, like, there's that's coming up, and then, oh yeah, I remember this part, you go there and that, and then, oh, I think the liquor's coming up, and I'm just like, son of a bitch, this guy, why did he just write a guide for this game? Like, he knows this game front to back.
Just absolute hacks.
And so, so I figured that's why I kind of had a feeling it was too. Anyway, to the next question, which is a little bit different, and I asked this because it seems like you played most of the streamlined mainline, 8 games, right? Except maybe the first, but obviously the franchise goes way deeper than that, and there are tens and tens of Resident Evil games, right?
Yeah.
Which one of those other games, or sorry, maybe I should say, which of those Resident Evil games you haven't played would you like to play the most that you know of?
Survivor 2. Now, this is a really obscure one, right? Most people haven't heard of Resident Evil Survivor.
I've heard Survivor, but not Survivor 2.
Yeah. Right, Survivor 2 is a thing that I didn't know existed until about a year ago. Because I was looking up because there's another YouTuber called Mr. Tibbs who is like he plays Resident Evil most on his channel. That's his go-to. His channel for about 2 years was a Resident Evil channel, and I noticed that he'd played a bunch of them, and he mentioned Survivor 2, and I was like, Survivor 2. Because I played Survivor, and it's notoriously bad. It's all just like reused assets of other games. And
is that the light rail style PS1 game?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You could use the gun.
Yes.
I didn't have one. I had to use a controller, so it was even more janky and awkward. But I did it.
It is terrible.
It's so bad. But at the time, I loved it because it was an extension of the lore.
Yeah.
It was areas that I could explore and more things that I could read and stuff in a familiar world. So for me, it was like they took Resident Evil 2 on the what is it, behind the scenes of Resident Evil 2. What's going on elsewhere? Because I always used to think that as I'm walking around as Leon, I'd be like, imagine what, I'd look at the other buildings and be like, imagine what the people in that building are going through. Imagine what that person, where was that car driving to? What's their adventure? Because they all pertain to this universe, and I think it's interesting. And this was like an insight into that. And Survivor, I really enjoyed, even though it was a really bad game. But then I heard that Survivor 2 exists. And again, really old, really bad. But I never ever played it. But I'd like to. But I've never ever played it.
Is it also a light rail game? Or did they change something?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. I didn't even research it. I just assumed it would be another first-person attempt. It was basically what they thought Resident Evil 7... they were trying to do Resident Evil 7 in 1998.
Yeah, but with light rail mechanics instead of just a freeform
exactly,
FPS.
Yeah. That's right, that's right.
Yeah, I've seen that game. And I was... Okay, so there's a channel called Triple Jump. Have you heard of it?
Right. Yeah, I've heard of Triple Jump, yeah.
I'm a big fan of theirs. They're based in the UK. You probably already knew that. But they did this ranking of all Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
Ranked from worst to best. And I watched it. And so I got introduced to so many Resident Evil games that and you should watch it if you haven't already, because you'll be surprised at how many actually exist, even for a big fan like yourself.
There'll be some that I've never heard of.
Oh, man. There were so many I had never heard of. And so I saw Survivor, and I was like, what the hell is this? And they probably included Survivor 2, but I would have to rewatch it. But you should definitely give it a watch. It's a long video, so if you're chilling, doing something, you have it in the background, you should have it playing, because it's really good. Anyways, interesting. Yeah, because there's so many. Because another thing with you kind of related to me when Crash, you're a big fan of the main series, played most, if not all of them. But not as much when it comes to the spin-offs, the outside games, right?
That's right.
The same thing for me. I have played, and I'm not alone in this, but a lot of Crash fans, they kind of just consider the Crash. When they think of Crash games, right? The Crash series, it's really just the first 3, and then
1, 2, 3,
and then CTR, the kart racer, because that was a phenomenal kart racer, and then some people sometimes consider Crash Bash not all of us. I don't. But then that's it. Gone. Just after that, no other game technically exists. Even though I'm damn well, aware that there were plenty of games for the GBA, on the Game Boy Color, on PS2, further out.
But then non-canon.
I don't even know what's canon and what's not. I don't know what they, because the thing is, Crash went through so many different rights holders. It was first owned by Universal Studios.
Naughty Dog.
No, Universal Studios owned it.
Universal had it first.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't make it. Naughty Dog made it, but Universal owned the rights to it. They owned the IP. Sony never owned the IP for Crash or Spyro, which is like, I don't know how you don't get that. But anyways.
That's crazy.
And then Activision took it, and then they had a whole bevy of different developers making Crash games. So there's no consistency really with any of them. And then it was like dormant for a long time with nothing. After like I don't think I think there might have been one PS3 game, which I think might have been Mind Over Mutant or one of those. I don't know.
Yeah,
at that point, I was just sad. At that point, I was like, I don't even want. If this is the Crash you're giving me, I don't want Crash anymore. I just don't. Just leave him alone. Let him sleep.
Let it die.
Let him rest, and I'll get over it. But and then we eventually got the remaster. The remake, remaster, whatever, and then the CTR one, and then we got Crash 4. So, but yeah, I didn't play a lot of those spinoffs. And so I was like thinking again, like, yeah, you got in the same boat I am with Resident Evil. So a lot of parallels there, like our favorite franchise, like, our favorite games. But when it comes to like the spinoff shit, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
No, there's a lot of them where it's like, I wouldn't even be that interested in playing. I remember there was one before I saw, and it was, what was it called? It wasn't Zero. It was like, friggin' hell, what was it called? It's difficult because I want to say Resident Evil Gold, but I'm thinking of Mortal Kombat Gold. And it's because I think it's like Resident Evil Below Zero or something like that. It's got some obscure name. And it's a Game Boy game.
Oh.
Like proper, really old school, like Pokemon style graphics, where it's just like dots. You can barely this is a zombie, but it's just like 2 green pixels and 3 red pixels. That's a zombie. So it's like that. That's a zombie. None of it's recognizable, and there's no storyline to it, but it's branded Resident Evil. So it's like people will buy it, especially people with a Game Boy. Like, it's a Resident Evil game for Game Boy. It's not, but it is at the same time because it's still got the name. It's still produced by the same company, and it still makes money. But I never really was interested in it because I didn't think that had any consistency. Like, it wasn't canon. Like, for me, the story is important and the characters are important. Like, I feel this is going to sound really strange, but I almost feel like I know these people. Like I've played the games for so long and learned so much about the franchise that I feel like if I was to forget one day and someone's like, do you remember Leon S. Kennedy? I'd be like, oh yeah, I remember him. Rookie Cop. Yeah. Ended up being I feel like I know the dude. It's weird. It's a fictional character, but but I relate to them so much, and I have so much love for the franchise and for the characters. So when I get this non-canon stuff, it's like, well, yeah, it's a bit of fun, but I don't love it. I don't love the game, and I don't, it's, that some of the mechanics might be interesting, but that's as far as it goes. I'll play it once, never again. Whereas Resident Evil 2 or 4, I will play it over and over and over and never ever get sick of it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, the job of a game is to get you attached to the characters. Otherwise,
absolutely,
especially if it's something that does have a strong narrative pushing the plot forward. Yeah,
very story based.
You want to care, and I can see why you don't care about stuff that's non-canon, because then it's like, well, if it's non-canon and I know it and the company knows it, then why should I even be invested? And then if that's the case, why should I even do any of this when none of it matters? So, no, I mean, it's not weird at all. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would feel the same. That's why a lot of people like narrative-driven games, is because of that very point. So, I will say, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to say what's canon with Crash, because I didn't follow any of that. I didn't give a shit. So I have no idea.
No, you just play the game.
Like after the PS1 classic games, I only played 3 after that. There was one that followed like the traditional platforming style called Wrath of Cortex on the PS2.
I remember Wrath of Cortex,
which I thought wasn't a half bad game, but it also could have been because I was 11 and I just wanted more Crash, and this was more Crash. So
win.
I guess nowadays people look back and it's really not that great, and I don't know. I've never played it again. If they add it to the PS Premium Classic catalog, I'll play it. Yeah. Otherwise, I played it and I enjoyed it at the time. They did a couple more racing games. Nitro Kart was like technically the follow up to the regular CTR, and it was okay, but I never finished it because I couldn't beat it, which was strange. But then then they did tag team racing, which I liked that one. Apparently, it's not that great amongst fans. I loved it. It was silly and juvenile, and it had like in the loading screen, you could press a button and have Crash fart, which now I get it. It's like really, but I was like 13, 14. It was just, I was like, that feels like something Crash would do.
Hilarious.
It felt like what Crash would do. So I was like, to me, it fit. And anyways, but I had a lot of fun. I played that game a lot. And I beat that a couple times. But other than that, no. And I know there's so many others, especially on the handhelds. There's so many others. But anyways, we're wrapping with one more question here. And this is kind of going to get to the big one here. So, I wanted to ask, so why do you feel Resident Evil? Well, no, let me ask this. Let me try to think of the best way here. Describe to us, what Resident Evil means to you. And this is a bit of an extension of a podcast David and I had a couple weeks ago where we listed a few games that meant a lot to us and why. Everyone has their franchise game or whatever that has meant a lot to them throughout their life, whether they keep playing it or they played it once and it just had a profound impact that's lasted. Obviously, your favorite franchise is Resident Evil. So I'm just wondering, why has it become that to you? Why has it had such a grasp on your life, and just everything you do gaming related?
Let's see. I think it's tough to say really outside of the fact that I just really enjoyed the game, but like as far as Resident Evil goes, with me starting at such a young age and Resident Evil being built for adults, it really taught me like a lot of problem-solving skills, and I got to learn a lot and learn to look deeper into things. So, like when you play a regular platformer game, it's very simple. You jump to this platform, you collect these rings, and you keep moving. And whereas Resident Evil, there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of thinking going on. Like the first time I played Resident Evil 2 through all the way, it took me about 12 hours, and it was trying to like run around and solve the puzzles. And because I was a kid, I didn't really get it. But when I did, I felt super, super accomplished. There's one memory I have, one memory that sticks with me as my like first memory of sussing out a problem. In Resident Evil 2, there's a helicopter crashes into the police station and it catches fire, blocking off your route. So you can't continue until you put out the fire. And I'm like, how do I do that? And I found a water tanker, and I remember thinking, water. So water, fire. Okay, I know. I'm 7 years old. I know that water puts out fire.
I see what you're doing.
So I examined everything in the environment, and it said, you need to find a valve handle. And I was like, I'm 7 years old. I'm like, what is a valve handle?
Dude,
I'd never seen one before. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it does. I didn't know what I was looking for. So I was just going around clicking on everything, and I couldn't find it. And then and I went to school the next day. I was in year 5. I was in year 4. I was in year 4, which would make me probably 7 or...
Really?
Yeah, I was
7?
Yeah, because we're in nursery until we're like 4. So it's...
Year 1 is 5, year 2 is 6, year 3 would be 7. Then.
So I was probably 8. I was 7 or 8, something like that.
Maybe 8. Okay.
But whatever the case, I was a boy. Like
I was regardless.
I was a boy. I was about 8 years old. And I remember sitting in the class, and one of the teachers came in, and they were doing a test on like some random gas test or something like that. And she said to my teacher, the headmistress came in with a couple of guys, and she pointed to the radiator and said, "Will you just turn that valve for me?" And I looked at it, and I seen this little red valve handle, and I'm like, oh, that's a valve handle. And then I remembered a part of the game where I'd seen it on the ground, and I'm like, I know what to do. It's in there. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I've got another 4 hours of school, and I'm just like, I know what to do. I know where to go. I've figured it out.
I gotta get home. Porn, though. It's an emergency.
The first thing I did, my mom was like, "Do you want any food?" No.
Emergency! I gotta get my Resident Evil 2.
Straight. And I remember that as soon as I start turning the valve handle, the water came out and put out that helicopter. I was sitting there going, "Yeah!" it was like, it gave me this overwhelming sense of accomplishment. And I was like, oh my God. And it was the dumbest thing, you know, it's like really, so these days you can look it up in 2 minutes. There's like, especially as a grown up, there's not as much satisfaction. But as a kid, sussing out a grown up problem, it's like, it blew my mind, you know. And also it kind of, it didn't make me popular, but so a lot of my friends, because they were young, they were afraid of horror games. Like even Resident Evil back in the day, because it had jump scares. Yeah, like you, like
terrified.
Kids these days don't relate to that. Like people these days don't relate, especially when you look at the graphics from like 1995, 1998, the original Resident Evil. So like, it's like, how was anyone ever afraid of this? Like when me or you watch the original Dracula or Frankenstein movies, like people were afraid of this. This is nonsense. But you know, they were, and we were, but I wasn't. So because I would play the games fearlessly, and I'd just enjoy them, they were like, you know, my friends would be sitting behind me like, hey, you're at the giant spider bit. Is there a monster? Is it going to jump out? And I'm like, I hope so. I want to shoot something.
I hope so.
I'd run headlong into danger, and people used to really like find that fun. So I play it in front of my friends, and they'd love how good I was at the game and how brave I seemed when I was, well, you know, conquering. They're like, how did you figure that out? And I'm like, because I'm really clever. I wasn't. It just made me feel good about myself. It made me feel smart. It made me feel brave, and I really connected with the characters and the environment and everything. And because I loved everything about it, you know, from ever since the day I was sitting in that Chinese takeaway reading about it, all the way up until, you know, when I played the remake, I still hold that exact same feeling, the same nostalgia, the same rush of adrenaline I get when I pick up the controller and load up that screen. It's the same every time. And I don't know, it just the spark never faded for me. So I don't know. But that's it. I think it's just pure nostalgia is why I love Resident Evil so much.
It's one of those games that whenever you turn it on, whenever you see it, you just can't help but have a smile on your face.
Someone the other day, somebody bought me a gift. In fact, I'll shout him out right now. In fact, because I said that I would, I'll do it again. But Mr. Tibbs, another YouTuber, but he's a big fan of mine and a big fan of Resident Evil, and he bought me. It's right down there, and I'd unplug it and show you. So it's like a PS1. It's a mini PS1, but there's like 3,000 games on it. And I loaded it up the other day just to give it a test, and I chose, the first game I chose was Resident Evil 2. You know, just to test drive it. Mm-hmm. And there's a loading screen, you know, as it comes up the original PlayStation screen. And I remember sitting there going, like, getting a little bit flustered, hearing the sound.
Oh man!
Yeah. Hearing the sound effect of the loading screen come in, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's man. This!" You know,
just hits you like a ton of bricks. Yeah,
it really did. I felt a little tingle in my eyes. I was like, "Oh my God, this is real."
On your PS3, because you have one too, it can play PS1 games, and
it can.
Mm-hmm. When you boot it up, it doesn't have the original Sony thing, but it has the second one after that.
The black screen with the PS,
that. And that'll still get me. And then you know when like I'll boost up Crash 2 or 3, and it has like, you know, Cortex will do the intro, and I'm just like, oh man,
bro,
so good, that voice, so good.
It hit you right in the feels.
Or like I boot up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1.
Dude,
because I have a copy of it on. I'll pop that in. I'll just see that intro screen come in. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just can't. I'm about to have a meltdown. It's gonna be crazy to think that some kids are gonna have a meltdown with like a PS4 game one day.
Yeah, someday someone's gonna play Elden Ring and they'll be like, "Oh my God, this game."
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, I can't handle this," or they're gonna like, it's just gonna be wild. Or someone's gonna like plug in, boot up Horizon Zero Dawn or The Witcher 3 or something.
Yeah,
but they're gonna be like, "Oh,
Cuphead." They're going to load up Cuphead and they're just going to have PTSD. They're going to be sitting there in a home at like 70 years old, and the Cuphead screen will come up and they'll just start screaming and get under the table.
Dude, I'm going to have like some kid that's not even mine.
What again?
I'm going to have like a kid like that's not even mine boot up like on his phone or whatever. They see Cuphead like 15 years from now, and I'm gonna hear like faintly hear it at the back of my head, and I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna freeze. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, what's that noise? What's that 1930s jazz noise? What is
Crash
it?
position.
Oh, oh.
Those like terrifying pie cut eyes that you've learned to feel.
Evasive maneuvers.
Seven times.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no, I'm gonna have like a meltdown, but a bad one. I'm gonna okay, I'm gonna need someone to call the ambulance right away because I'm about to go into a shock in 5 seconds. Oh man,
your kids will be calling the ambulance like he's just ranting about some cope on his head. Like, I don't know what to do.
Now he's singing music from the 30s. Like, we don't know why.
He just keeps screaming, "Dash! Damn it, dash!"
Just screaming, Saltbaker.
Saltbaker. The fucking limes! The
limes! Always the limes.
I love how people watching this at the moment who haven't played Cuphead don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Good. They should. I don't want you to. Don't play it. It's terrible for you. It's not good for your health. It's
just like things you should not Google.
Cuphead.
2 girls, 1 cup.
No.
Trypophobia. And
Cuphead is above that. Cuphead is number
1.
Oh,
wait. 2 girls, 1 Cuphead.
I would rather watch 2 girls, 1 Cuphead. I'm not gonna lie to you. I went to the Cuphead subreddit after I beat Saltbaker just to see like what are people talking about. See, like, are people talking about Saltbaker about how bullshit he is? Because I wanted to feel like validated in my hate. And I was telling him that some people have made a bunch of tier lists of like now that we've had all the this is going to be the only DLC for this game apparently, and so people are putting up their tier list of like hardest bosses, and someone yeah, I forget. I think that I don't know how many bosses they had, but at the top rank, it said it was an abbreviation, but I think it stood for "kill yourself." It was Saltbaker.
What did you say the other day? You should have his own tier, and it should be garbage. And
I would have a special tier just called garbage.
I would just for Saltbaker.
I would throw him in there so fast. I'm tempted to throw in Hildeberg, but I know that's just personal preference. Because a lot of people actually didn't have the same problem with Hildeberg apparently that I did.
Everyone's got that one boss,
and I feel part of it might be because I first played her while I was live, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I don't think all these people who did this tier list did this live first time. I'm sure maybe some of them did, but I don't think a lot of people did. And that just makes a huge difference for a lot of people like myself. So I don't know. Maybe it would have been different if I had fought her an expert off cam.
Likely, yeah. I mean, you saw what Wally Warbles did to me at Cuphead.
Yeah, because like Wally Warbles was fine for me. I mean, it shocked me at first. Like it was it was a shock. But like after I was like, oh, well, no matter where the eggshells break, they always go in a certain area. They don't deviate. And so when I figured that out, I was like, okay, it's not so bad. I have to be a little quick, but it's not so bad. But for you, it was like
it was just torture. I could not get it.
Fucking turkey. Yeah, so like it just depends, because like now like Warbles, I would put that like even on expert, I would put that like in the mid range, if not the low range for difficulty, and I would put the dragon now at like mid range because of that. Now knowing about the lobber and having the crack shot.
Now knowing, to be fair, I was literally doing grid matchstick runs earlier. Like I was like, how often can I S rank this? And it turns out quite frequently now that I know what to do. Now that I know to control it, it's like if I can get to the last phase, I'll win. So
I mean, I don't know if I will say if I'm getting S ranks, but I can do it without too much of a problem now.
Yeah.
It's no longer like my worst boss like it once was.
No.
I still don't like Honey Bottoms. Still don't like her.
Oh no, that's still I avoid that one still. She's always her and Dr. Cal's robot are the last ones I go to for the original
I still
game.
don't like them at all.
No.
But they're probably the only two. I mean, the devil is kind of annoying, but
but it's not the worst. It's only his last phase that bothers me because I suck at parrying. Like
for me, the last boss is fine. It's just I had to try to time my jump right and make sure I have more than 1 health left. But totally. I mean, he's not so bad. The DLC bosses, I mean, the dogfight is. If it wasn't so damn unique, I would hate it way more than I do. But and also because of that female dog. Oh man.
Right, them boots though.
Them boots. But yeah, but it's not as it should be. It should piss me off way more, but it doesn't. But the mountain troll one, I hate that one. That one's bullshit. That one I don't like.
That's a whole load of bull. In fact, I find
the
I don't know if it's because the DLC ones are so new, so I haven't had as much chance to practice them, but they do seem harder. I don't know if that's just me, but I find them considerably harder than the other ones. Like they seem like a lot more bullshit, like a lot more RNG. So like when I was the first S rank I got on the DLC was the giant.
I'm like, I don't know how the hell you did that, but
it's because I learned to use the parry ring to get my health back.
Yeah, so you were using that. I wasn't using any of the new shit at the time. Yeah.
So like, so it was okay. Like I wasn't dying. I could beat him. I just couldn't S rank him. I beat him every time, but I couldn't S rank him. So I was having to like keep my health up. So I got really good at learning what was what. But the thing is, it seemed to change even after playing it 10, 20, 30 times. It still kept doing stuff that I'd never seen. Like, the platforms disappeared. So I was like, right, so if I stand on here, the fourth one disappears. So I'll try that next time. But the next time it didn't happen. It was like, oh, the geese are coming, so I better duck. So one of the platforms will stay stationary. But like on the fifth or sixth attempt, all the platforms move. So it's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it puts you in situations where it's just like, okay, cool, fuck me then.
I'll just go fuck myself. It just changes things so frequently that it's a lot of it's more luck-based than skill, and that upset me a bit.
Because it's just the first phase. I mean, second phase kind of sucks, but I can deal with it.
Third phase, easy.
Third is nothing. Third phase is nothing, and so it's like
real simple.
It's really weird. Like that first phase really pisses me off, and with the insects, I mean, the aesthetic is so dope. So I'm like, I don't hate it as much as I do, but like I was disappointed with that first boss because I was like, that last phase was like, really, this is even a fucking insect, or I guess it is, but like it doesn't fit the same mold. So I was like, yeah, but I'm okay with it. Now that I'm using the crack shot, everything's changed. I feel a lot better.
Much better.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't make I'm not mad about it though. But I will say, I think part of it might be because every boss is varied, is nowhere near the same as the last, right?
So complicated. Yeah.
So the insect boss, there's 3 different layers, 3 different floors, right? You can jump freely between all 3, right? Windsor Winchester, air level, like a proper plane level. Okay. Yeah. And then the dogfight, plane level, air level, but
new
not
mechanics,
the same, right? Yeah. So it's like that's all completely different. Gumdrop,
gives you a balance beam this time. That was new.
Yeah, like Gumdrop, just bullshit. And then the proper snow level, the other snow level.
Yeah,
it's like the last
what
phase.
Was his name? Mortimer
the last
Freeze
phase has like the platforms circling around. You have to very much be diligent of, and so all 5 of those bosses are a bit, and if you include the secret boss, there's that cool the weird mechanic.
Yeah, that's right.
With your back on the devil, and all that stuff. So
everything about it was new, and therefore complicated.
Yeah, only thing that wasn't new, I guess you could say was Esther, but but she's still pretty. She has a lot of crazy things going on. It's a 4-phase boss, so it still presents its own challenges in its own right, and so I think it might be why you might think it's so challenging because like there's so much variation with all 5 of those bosses, which makes sense because if this is the only DLC, well then they want to try to have as much differentiation as they can within those bosses. So that might be why. I don't know though if it's hard. I mean, it might be on par with. I don't know. I have to really think about the difficulty though, if it's like harder than World 3 or not, because people were saying like,
I think it is.
People were saying like the devs were using obviously World 3 as the basis. And they're like, well, it kind of depends on how you feel about World 3. That'll make you depend on whether you think this will be harder or easier or about the same for you. And I don't know yet. I don't know because while World 3 has Rumor Honey Bottoms and Dr. Cal.
Dr. Cal, yeah. Well, the rest of it's not too bad.
It also has, Tom and Jerry, which is not bad.
I love that one.
Which is great, yeah.
Some of them are really easy. Like, that one was cool. Sally Stage Play is just a cakewalk.
Completely, like, in the wrong world.
Yeah.
Now that I understand, especially now that we have the crack shot, the train level is a lot more easy.
The train, I can beat the train every time now with crack shot. Yeah.
Is it Mala Marie or Mala
Cala
Maria?
Maria.
Oh, Cala Maria. She's not so bad. Once you get a handle of her, her
stoning technique,
stuff, it's not crazy bad. I still don't really particularly like the Captain Briny beard. It might be because I haven't played him yet with the crack shot, which I know is going to help quite a bit. But
hugely so.
Before you have that, I don't know. I didn't really like him too much, but I don't know. Like, there's some stuff that's definitely hard. Some stuff that's about the middle. Some stuff that's definitely shouldn't even be there. So it's a toss up for me. I don't know if I could really say 4 is harder, or if it's about the same. It's not easy.
I think it might only seem harder because we haven't had a chance to practice. Like we've been playing World 3 on and off for a while. Like, we've had opportunity to practice it, whereas World 4 we've literally had like 2 weeks worth of practice since it came out or whatever it's been.
That's true.
So
I'll let you be decider, because once I'm done with Miss Chalice, I'm done with that game.
Yeah,
I'm sure you won't be.
I'll continue. I won't be.
You can let me know
because I've got to a point now where I enjoy playing. It's like, it still stresses me out, don't get me wrong, but I like playing it.
Gosh.
I think it's because it does the same thing Resident Evil did. It presents a challenge that I find really difficult, but then when I overcome it, it gives me a sense of accomplishment that I rinse and repeat, because I want to give myself that sense of accomplishment over and over again. Eventually it'll fade, don't get me wrong.
I guess I feel that on regular mode, I guess.
Yeah,
because this game is still really hard for so many people, even on like simple mode, let alone regular or expert. So knowing
1% of people of expert run this game.
I think it's like a couple percent on PlayStation, but it's still still really small. But just to know that I did the first 10 bosses, both worlds, with Miss Chalice, a brand new character I was just getting used to on regular mode in like 40 minutes. Yeah. It's like it feels good to know that, because there's so many people, like I said, who just they can't do this, or they try and it's like I can't, it's just too much, I can't, and I'm just like, all right, I can get this done in like 40 minutes. Like, fucking by the time you're done with your tea, I can be done with this. And so I guess I feel it that way. But man, once you bring that expert mode, I'm done. I'm out of there, because that's for me on some of the bosses. It's not a sense. It's no, because let's say I had beaten Saltbaker on that stream.
Yeah.
Okay, for some people, I know there's always like that. You're supposed to be like, oh yeah, challenging, but when you beat it, you get that reward, right? For me, it's no reward, because I beat it, but it's like I went through a bunch of barbed wire to get to the end, and so it's like, you're done, but you don't feel good about it.
No, hell no, you don't feel good about it. You just feel
tired, exhausted, and wondering why the hell you did this in the first
place. Whoa, so why did I do this to myself?
That's how I would have felt, even if I had beaten Saltbaker on expert on that stream.
Yeah.
And even when I did beat him now, I was like, good, I'm just done. I just wanted to. It was just annoying to me, and so that challenge but great reward afterward, that's gone. It's gone. It left the building.
That happened to me with Grim Matchstick. You might remember, actually. You might remember when I played the first time I ever played through. It was only on normal mode, and I played Grim Matchstick, and it took me so long. And by the end of it, like, normally after I beat a boss, I would go Cuphead, and everyone was I'm really happy and have a little song and dance about it. After Grim Matchstick, I was like,
Didn't you go like Cuphead?
I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just sad.
Was that the one you broke your screen on, or was it a different boss?
Yeah. No, that was Rumor. Honey Buttons.
It was Rumor. Okay, yeah.
That was a swift left cross.
I will say I felt so good. I felt so good when you were struggling on Rumor and on the dragon. Actually, I take it back. We didn't stop at David and I didn't stop at the clown. We stopped at Rumor. We got to World 3. We beat the dragon some fucking how, and we got to the Rumor, and we just could never beat her. That's where we left off. That's where we stopped. And so I was like, oh man, can't wait to see this guy do this for the first time. And so that was it was good. Fun. It was good. Yeah. I got to see him. I was like, yeah, good. He's feeling my pain. He's feeling my pain now. It felt so good. It felt so
validation. I don't suck. It is hard.
I felt so good. I was like, good. I'm so glad someone else here. And you were using some of the other shots too. Where I think Dave, I think both of us were just using.
You were still pea shooting.
Oh, like a bunch of fucking bums. Well, anyways, guys, we're just banting now. I'll wrap up this podcast here. Sorry, this is kind of what happens even off camera when we talk.
Yeah, we're like, can you call me for 5 minutes? Yeah, sure. Yeah, like, what time is it for you? 6 a.m.
Like, oh, fuck. How long has it been talking for? 4
4
hours.
hours.
Oh, shit.
Well,
well, might as well be up now.
yeah,
No,
well, I'm going to work.
I will say, to my credit, when I called you on Tuesday, that was the shortest conversation we ever
It
had.
really was,
So,
yeah. I mean, it was an hour, but it was
not an hour. It was 40 minutes at tops.
It was 40 minutes, but and yeah. To be fair, it was. He said, "Rick, call me for 5 minutes." 40 minutes later, I did good.
Whatever. Anyway, that was the shortest though. I did keep it down to to the shortest we ever had. But that's what happened every time we're supposed to record. We're like, okay, we're like a good 2-3 hour session. We record for an hour because we spent an hour before and after just fucking talking about nothing.
Because we're both gobshites. We're like, we'll talk for ages. So like, I'll talk for like a 25-minute stint without breathing, and then he goes, and then he'll do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, the also thing is because it's like, so as you said, you're not good. You're not the best with people. You rather not interact with them than do. I'm fine with people, but I don't have a lot of people to talk to. I'm so lonely. Anyway,
ladies, please.
Hey. If you in Washington, hey.
Or just in the vicinity. You don't have to be in Washington. He'll travel. He's coming to the UK to see me.
You hear that, Lily?
Imagine if I had boobs.
Anyways, so we're looking for outlets. I feel like even though you don't have to talk to people that much, we're all talkative people. Everyone likes to interact.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like you're making up time when I show up and you're like, all right, cool. I haven't talked about a week. Let's get it all out on this guy. And I haven't been able to talk for a while either. So I'm just like, I'm gonna get everything out on this guy.
Oh yeah.
I think that's just what happens. But anyways, that's this podcast. Thank you, Gemini, for joining and jumping in. I don't know why it took so fucking long. We've been talking and doing this collab for like a few months, and not once I think like I should just have him. Why not have him do a podcast recording with me?
So, I'm starting to think you just didn't like me.
That's what I've been recording with you for 2 months now, and didn't like him all this time.
Sick of this guy, like trying to think of a way out of it. Like, oh no, he's gonna make me do the whole fucking game.
It was my idea. You didn't even want to. I was like, no, all four.
I didn't want to. I was like, I don't even know. Like, we were just like, we couldn't have picked a worse game to collab together, but we're making it work.
I feel like. I forget. It might have been me who suggested Resident Evil 6. I think
it was. Might have actually been like, see Chris punch a boulder, which he never did.
She does it. It's the wrong fucking game, and I was so mad.
I think I said that in the first episode, and you were like, "No, I've looked it up."
Which is funny because you had already done Resident Evil 5, and so I guess
I'd seen him punch boulders. I thought it was just a recurring theme.
Yeah, I must not have seen that part of your playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
To when I would have.
I never got to it with 5. I never got to it.
That's why. Okay,
I didn't finish 5 yet.
Okay, so I wasn't tripping. It was you just didn't finish it because the game isn't good. I mean, it's better than 6, but
it is, and we're finishing that. I will finish 5. I'll go back to it, but
people say 5 was where it started going downhill, and
it was.
And it literally was. I played 5. I have played 5, and. Yeah, it wasn't the best. It isn't the best. But it is better than 6. Holy shit! When you people see 6, it is a hot load of garbage. I've said this before during episodes. I will say it here. I don't want to see I will dislike comments that are just like, "Oh, great game, great gameplay, graphics are amazing." And it's like, if I see that, I will dislike.
Say that again. Say that again.
I will ban you from my chat, from my comment section.
Please unsubscribe.
Yes, I want you to rag on this game. I want you to talk shit about this. I don't want no one praising this game. It does not deserve it.
Roast this game.
Yes, hashtag roast this game. Anyways, we're done here, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you again, Gemini.
Thanks for having me, bro.
We will see you guys next week. I don't know when this will go up, but whenever, we'll see you next week. And as Gemini likes to say, that's game over, man. Goodbye.